11 Patels got arrested for visa fraud because some of them would be cashiers and some of them would pose as robbers, and they would pretend to rob the cashiers and file a police report. And then those people that got robbed, quote unquote, would be allowed to apply for some special protection under their visa.
To like stay longer.
Yeah, to like fast track there.
Yeah. But then would they cycle it? Then one group would rob the other group and they'd go back and forth?
They got fucking busted.
That's how you got, oh, come on.
And they're all last name Patel. This is all Patels. Jitendra, Mahesh Kumar, Sanjay Kumar, Deepika Ben, Ramesh Bhai. Deepika Ben, what are you doing, lady? Come on, yo. Amita Ben.
Sono?
It's so funny to think that Deepika Ben, Sonal, and Sangeeta Ben were doing the robberies. They pull up in like saris. Like, they probably shared the fake gun. You know what? Proud of the women for participating in this scheme.
What's good? What's good? This is part of like the delineation, semantics, and things that happen on people lying. This happened, but this was a story about Indian guys basically robbing each other, but saying black people robbed them, and they got to a point where I think it was paying off cops, if I'm not mistaken, to go along with the story, because after a while they just kept doing it over. It became a thing. It was their way to fast track a visa and citizenship. Some of y'all don't really know this, but women that are come from foreign countries, they do this too. They come here and they get in relationships and they claim abuse to go to like to a women's shelter, and then it fast tracks them to citizenship. So some of these abuse claims weren't actually abuse. But I say that to say this: a lot of these other groups, other ethnicities, they do what he just did. They tell a story, but they don't tell a part about throwing black folks under the bus in the story. So then when people come around like, yo, didn't they do it? Oh, I didn't know. You did know. That's your group of people. You know exactly what they did. You know, and then because people of all different ethnicities play this game with blacks are this and the blacks are that. But y'all don't talk about how some of y'all braid your hair and go commit crimes because you got darker skin. So at nighttime, from a distance, somebody thinks you're black. Or, you know, they used to steal cars. This was recent. You know, they'll dress up like black teenagers in Nike Techs and stuff, but they'll be like Asians and Hispanics. They'll do that. But then they'll be like, well, you need to watch the blacks. See, part of everybody saying black people are this and black people are that, what they're not saying is, they're doing most of the stuff that they're saying black people do, but they're doing it in blackface. Let's just say it that way. So, but this playing oblivious to, I didn't know that. You knew that. You knew that. You know, just like, you know, they had the stories of the white guys who used to who were buying the lifelike masks of black men and going out and commit crimes. Because you just got to blame the black guy. And people go, no, this is, you know, you're using stories that are just, you know, obscure. No, it's not really obscure, dog. No, they're not. Tell you why. This has been going on for so long. There have been people like Hispanic that, you know, some people Afro-Latino, right? They don't, but when they commit a crime, they're black. But you know, if they don't, you know, if they don't get caught, you're looking for a black person, but they're actually Latino or Hispanic. And they don't have to be Afro. They could just be brown. Like I said, Asians do it too. If I you know, let me rewind and talk about something else that's involved in this. Like out here, it was a crime of basically Hispanic dudes. I think they was breaking into homes. But facially, you know, skin tone, it was black. But then you see the names like Arguello, and like it was just all Hispanic names. And it's like, yeah, the same thing going back to the Somalis. That's what the other thing I was talking about. The Somalis, you know, we're not black, we're Somali. Cool, that's cool. But then you get caught scamming. You know, they're trying to hold a black man down. No. Y'all do this. You know, kind of like Caribbeans, Africans do that too. You know, no, it was a black dude. It wasn't. I'm Caribbean. It's a black dude that did that. I'm African. It's like, no, it's you did it. You get what I'm saying? Just because you got an accent doesn't mean you didn't do it. But people skip over that, and they skip over the fact that their community does this, which is the most important part of what I'm talking about. You know, because it's weird. Because how can I say it? Make for example, let's just use ICE right now. ICE is predominantly white guys and Hispanic guys, and they're getting caught doing some wild stuff, you know, assaulting people in detention centers. But hey, we're not saying nothing, right? But it's the black guys. But you can't blame the black guys in those scenarios because black guys aren't there. That's what I'm saying. You know, going back to the police thing in L.A. when, and that's not the first time the police force got caught, targeting black folks. And part of targeting black folks is what? If you're a certain ethnicity and you're targeting black folks, 9 times out of 10, you're targeting black folks for stuff, but you letting your own that are doing things off the hook. Don't you find it kind of ironic that you got like whites, Hispanics, Asians, and black cops? Let's just do that. But all of these cops only know what's going on in the black neighborhood. All the crimes is in the white guys don't know about no white criminals. The Hispanics don't know about no Hispanic criminals. The Asians don't know about any Asian criminals, but they all over the place. No, they just, hey man, we gonna, y'all did this, but we gonna blame it on the blacks. It's not what you know, but it's what you can prove, right? So this is a thing. Just like speaking of like the Indian cats, when they were, not just the Indians, you saw how they wanted to revoke a lot of foreigner CDLs because they blame a lot of foreigners for all these bad accidents with these 18 wheelers. And they done some wild stuff. So, but you can't blame anybody, quote unquote, black for that because wasn't a black person driving. But at the same time, excuse me, you have these stories of construction workers, whether they be Hispanic or even African. They get in a job, hey man, we got to get rid of the black folks because they bad. The black folks is bad. The black folks is lazy. Like pretty much every job market, a group of people get together, and if it's black people there, they form like Voltron. We got to get rid of the black ones because the black ones do this. And what they don't say is normally the business goes downhill for a while because of the incompetence. You know what I'm saying? People start like, oh well, there ain't no black people here, so it can't be bad. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of bad. It's kind of bad. But we don't play that. We don't say that a lot of times. People don't say that publicly. You don't see it on social media. Like it's the same thing when people talk about like what's in your algorithm. Excuse me. Like if you black people do this, black people do that. It's all in your algorithm, but you don't go, damn, like, what are they doing in these other cities? Because when you look up the most violent cities and the most drug infested cities in America, it's a lot of places you be like, well, how is it there? Yeah, y'all don't say anything. The people chasing little kids, Chris Hansen hooking them up with time. Y'all don't say anything. And even in some of those scenarios, it was a black guy. I remember the story of the cop that shot himself and blamed a black guy. You like think about how many times in your lifetime black men have been blamed for things that it's like, well, he wasn't. Nobody black was there. Like nobody black was in the area, bro. What are we talking about? Falsely accused of things. They even had that on social media. what was the show? What would you do? They have white people in the park stealing stuff, and white people go, Then they put somebody black in the park doing the same thing, and everybody knows the cops' number now. Like that's what everybody does. Every other ethnicity does that. They do all kinds of outlandish things, and they get away with it because, no harm, no foul, hush, hush. We're not gonna say nothing. But if anything happens, you blame a black guy. If anything happens, you blame a black. I don't know. It was a black man. He was a black man. That was the old joke, even in the '90s. He's 6 foot tall. He bald headed. He had a Cadillac. Black man. You fit the description. We fit the description of a lot of people's BS. Because as long as you can, and this goes with the cops. This goes with people's families. As long as you can blame somebody black, it pretty much covers up the reality of what actually happened. You can have all the proof if you look for it, but once you say somebody black, that's all. That's all we need to know. And this is what I mean by people play this game where they act like it doesn't exist when it does, because they don't want to say this is part of the hustle in America. That's how a lot of y'all got ahead. We can't get into school with affirmative action. We need to stop affirmative action because of the black people. It wasn't even for y'all though, but whatever. DI, the black people. Matter of fact, let's go back. Welfare is the black people. We're the blame for everything going on, while all of you all are committing all the crimes doing it. The drugs, it's the black people. But didn't the government get caught? Didn't the government get caught? Oh, but see, don't worry about that. But I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, peace.